Happy New Year, Trek Nation. And guess what today is? January 2nd, 2021, my 48th birthday. Now let's take a trip down memory lane. Remember back in season 3, episode 2 of Star Trek Discovery, when I said that there was no way in hell they should have left the space cowboy alive? Just watch this to remind you of what I said.
With her thought that she should have killed Space Cowboy, even though he's probably dead anyway, but no body, no crime, so we don't know that he's dead. But I felt like you guys killed the whole rest of the crew. Why would you not kill the leader? Why would you allow the leader of that crew to walk out of that saloon alive? Now, the character that I thought was a Kelpian, and I'm still not 100% sure what species he is, but I think he should have shot him. This man just sat here and killed your friend right in your face. Now, Tilly and Saru may have felt bad about this, but they were not nearly as invested in the friendship that these two had as the other, and I forgot his name, but the other alien. He should have shot him. There's no way that man should have walked up out of that saloon to freeze to death or to have the parasitic ice eat him up. There's no way. I'm sorry, he should not have been set free. He should have been killed. Get rid of this man. You don't know what you're coming into. You don't know what situation you're walking into. You let him walk out and he can go and inform other people about your presence and give you enemies that you don't even know that you had.
But I guess if they would have killed him, we wouldn't have got Die Hard in space. If you want to know what I thought of this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery, just keep watching. We got another action-packed Jonathan Frakes directed, Kenneth Lynn written episode of Star Trek Discovery, and this one did not disappoint much. It didn't disappoint much. So, after capturing the USS Discovery, Osyraa seeks a meeting with Admiral Vance, while Burnham and the crew must overcome unimaginable odds as they attempt to regain command of their ship. Okay, last week I said I wanted to see some action. I wanted to see some pew pew. I wanted to see all that, and guess what? Happy birthday to me. We got all of that. We got all of that. Jumping it all off, we see Burnham and Book trying to hurry up and catch Discovery before it gets away. So they use the subspace corridors that the couriers generally use, but we find out why it's not used more often, because it's full of space junk. It's just full of space junk. And it is very dangerous. And I was holding on as we were slipping through that slipstream, that subspace corridor, but we did catch up to Discovery in the most awesome way ever, in a way that I had already seen on The Mandalorian. But I can honestly say Discovery was through recording before we got the ending of The Mandalorian, where we saw Mando and his ragtag crew go into the to Moff Gideon's ship, much the same way we just saw Burnt Book's ship go into Discovery. Just last second, shuttle bay doors open, crash landing. Started off with a whole lot of action. Thank you, Jonathan Frakes. Thank you. And then we go into, from that point on, we see Book present Burnham with a device that will hide her life sign and have her move around Discovery, picking off the regulators one by one. John McClane style. Yes, we got some Die Hard in this thing. Burnham gave us her best rendition of John McClane, and I think she delivered very well. I think that was very well done by the directors, by the writer, and of course by the actress. Even after getting stabbed in the thigh, and now she has to drag her leg behind her, she ends up barefoot, everything. We got the whole Die Hard plot sunk right into the middle of Discovery, and I thought that was awesome. There may be some people who feel like it was just a big ripoff, but honestly, I don't feel like it's a ripoff when you're paying homage to one of the best Christmas movies there is out there. In the mean and in between, we see Admiral Vance kind of figuring out exactly what was going on with the Discovery ship, which is he just allowed Osyraa and her crew of regulators passage into Starfleet headquarters under the guise of being Discovery trying to outrun the Viridian. So that was very good. We also see what Osyraa's game was. Her game was that she wants to become part of the Federation. She wants the Emerald Chain and their vast mercantile of planets to team up with the Federation and possibly make an alliance. So this is where one of the things that I've been saying for at least half of the season is I thought Admiral Vance was a piece of crap. Now, I'm wondering if I was wrong. I mean, it's possible. I guess I've been wrong before, but it's looking like Admiral Vance is not as shitty as I thought he was, or he is still playing this game and he is very good at it. Now, speaking of shit, so they're eating shit when he's offering her this little fruit tray with all of these different various fruits of he lets Osyraa know that this is made from shit and that they don't have to commit atrocities to provide it to people. So I guess we needed to know that. I enjoyed all of the back and forth between Osyraa and Vance, especially to the point where he said, "Hey, we might be able to do this thing, but you're gonna have to, face trial for the atrocities that you have committed throughout the galaxy." And she was like, "Oh no, hold up, wait a minute."
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
That is not part of the deal. I will not be facing no time. What really made them stop negotiating is when Burnham killed her right hand woman, I suppose. And I don't remember her name and I just know that she is an alien species that we've seen before Picard, but I don't know exactly who they are or what they do. But once she saw her get blasted out into space, it was all negotiations, all talks are off. Then she went into true feel the full weight of the chain mode. And again, we got to see Osyraa at her best and at her worst as far as the character and what she's capable of. We got to see Osyraa be a diplomat, and we also got to see her be a terrorist, and how those two things exist in that one person. And I think that Osyraa's character really grew quite a bit in this episode. In the last two episodes, I saw what would make Osyraa a formidable opponent to the Federation. So for that, great job. Because like I said, the first time we met Osyraa, I wasn't worried about her. She was nothing to be impressed by. But now I'm starting to see that there is more to this character, that there are layers to her, and kudos to Kenneth Lynn for bringing that out in this episode, and kudos to the directing of this episode. Again, Jonathan Frakes never disappoints to me, in my opinion. Now we saw again Book and Ren attempting to hold things down for the Federation, because the Federation has proven itself to have ideals that they want to live up to, and so they are throwing all of their firepower behind the Federation. But one of the things that I thought was the dopest, and I know that I said it in the last episode, is that I wanted to see this Discovery crew outside of the mirror universe put hands on Osyraa's regulators and whoop on the Emerald Chain a little. And it started with the Morse code between Bryce and Reese, and for them to say that they were just saying, just keep tapping, it seemed like the ladies, Osyraa and Detmer, understood exactly what they were telling them to do. I was more impressed with Tilly as a leader while they were being held hostage. She she showed that killing instinct. She showed that instinct and she went for the jugular a lot of times. And I think she made up this episode kind of for getting the ship taken in the last episode. I still say that there was not an awful lot that she could have done in the situation that she was in, but we are seeing Tilly jump into action this week, and I appreciated it, loved it, thought it was great, and I think that we are going to see exactly what we wanted to see in this last episode, which is the Zora, the Sphere Data coming and helping in the fight. So I think these are things that we were looking forward to anyway, and we're going to get it obviously in next week's episode. We also, Burnham was chased around the ship and she was dropping blood everywhere. And my question is, why didn't she try to make it to like the sick bay where she could have repaired, kind of like Catherine Janeway did in her Die Hard episode? There was no emergency medical kits nowhere along the way as far as her being able to repair this damage that was done to her leg. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. Didn't like it. That they overlooked that, and that's just a little nitpick. And I wish I would have gotten, if they would have asked me, that would have been one thing I wanted for my birthday. Just give me a med kit on the way to through these Jeffries tubes, because anybody can get hurt. That needs to be something that they add to all the Jeffries tubes. There needs to be an emergency medical kit at each juncture. Just me. I'm just saying. We saw Burnham make that SOS to her mom. Basically, hey mama, things might not go the way that I planned for it to go, and we might meet again in some distant future. Or mama now might come and rescue her baby because she knows exactly where she is. So mama might come and rescue her baby, and this will be in following with all the rest of the Star Trek shows that we got this year, where at the end of Discovery last year, we got them being rescued by the Kelpians and the Klingons, and then we got in Picard, we got them being rescued at the nth hour, and then in Star Trek Lower Decks, we got them being rescued at the last minute, and now here we are in one more final episode of Star Trek Discovery, and we may be seeing them be rescued at the very last minute by the Romulans and the Vulcans and the Qowat Malat, and who knows who else, because obviously this universe is smaller than we thought it was. Even though they don't have dilithium, it's obviously the galaxy is a pretty small place. If what's his name, Zara, is down with Osyraa and them, and he's with them right now, if that can happen, then the galaxy is not as hard to travel as we thought it was. But anyhow, the big thing to me was the Paul Stamets and the Aurelio with their conversations as scientists, and him trying to appeal to that family nature. And this is not what we signed up for as scientists. We didn't sign up to be out here taking people hostage and committing atrocities on a planet-wide level, genocides and thrusting planets into famine. Is that what we work for? And you could see that Stamets was getting to Aurelio. He was breaking down his thought processes, but then Aurelio also gave us another layer to Osyraa, which is, hey, they were about to throw me in the garbage for having a genetic defect, but she saved me. So she saw something in me and she saved me. So here we are with two scientists. They're both fighting for what they believe in, except Stamets is really, really ready to fight and or die for Culber and Adira, who he finds out are on the planet in the Verubin Nebula. So now the only thing that's on his mind at this point is getting back. And we see him making some very questionable decisions over the last couple of episodes where he wants to do things his way. He wants to make sure that he's looking out for his partner and his surrogate child instead of looking out for the good of the many. And I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, you know, you can do more. You can do more by just falling in line and thinking this whole thing through. We get the ship back. The quicker we get the ship back, the quicker we can go get them. So I just didn't like that Stamets became so hysterical in these situations. And I did think that it was a good idea to separate Stamets from the ship. That could be looked at in a lot of ways, but it takes us back to Burnham and Arium when she hesitated to push that button and send Arium out of the airlock, and that could have cost the Discovery crew their lives. Well, same thing is happening here. You're facing the situation where I could send him out and it can buy us time. And Burnham made the right decision. We're seeing her make amends for being, I guess, you could almost call it selfish, for being selfish before. She's making amends. I can see her growing, and I'm wondering where this is going. We said goodbye to Ren in this episode, and I thought that was one of the things that I did not like. I thought Ren was an excellent addition to this crew, and I thought that he would be around for a while. I thought we would get some of him next season, but I guess, if it was Book or Ren, they was gonna have to send away Ren, and so be it. Ren is gone, but he went out. He went out on his feet. He did not go down groveling or begging or anything. Osyraa just showed that she is really about that life, and Aurelio saw that. And this may have been the first time we have gotten the impression that this is the first time that he's seen her do something so violent and heartless that didn't have to be done, but she did it to prove a point, just how bad she is. We see his conflict now because, again, Stamets got to him. Now, Stamets has just been shot out of an airlock, so he don't know that, but Aurelio don't know that Stamets is no longer on the ship. We do see Aurelio conflicted, so it makes me feel like there's going to be a point when Aurelio has an opportunity to step in and make things right, make it possible for Stamets to see his family or make some type of sacrifice play. And I hope that they deliver upon that. I hope that's not just something that's teased. One of the things that I did not like about this episode is that there was no finality. So now our next episode, we have to wrap up two things. We've got to wrap up Discovery taking the ship back, the crew of Discovery taking the ship back. And we also have to wrap up what's going on in the Verubin Nebula. And we know that Culber and Saru and Adira are not going to die. We know this. It's almost 100%. We're not losing those characters. How do we get them back? How do we get them back to Discovery? And is it going to be in a satisfying way? Because again, you only got so much time in an episode, unless they double the episode or add an extra 15 minutes or something, which I would be completely down for. I just don't know how they're going to wrap these things up satisfactorily in one episode. We needed something to be final today. And we saw at the end of this episode, Zara coming up on Burnham like, you're going to regret doing that. You're going to regret doing that. And Burnham is now compromised. She's caught. I don't think she's not going to get out of it. Of course, we all know that there's going to be some showdown between Burnham and Osyraa, because why not? But how are we wrapping all this stuff up? next week, if it's going to be a 45-minute episode or 50-minute episode, how are we going to wrap all these loose ends? Are we going to finally get a satisfactory ending for the burn situation? And also, are we going to get a satisfactory ending to this emerald chain situation? I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a tall order, and that is where I have a problem with the episode. It's just nothing particularly got solved, but we did get an amazing episode. We did get a lot of action. We did get some growth between Osyraa and the chain and who they are. And we got to see Admiral Vance. Okay, he did a great job at being an admiral in this situation. I would have liked to have seen somebody from the Federation of Planets come down. I'm wondering if we're going to find out that all of them are the same people. We got to see Eli again, who I didn't realize it before, but his name is just, I guess you want to call it an anagram of lie, the word lie. It's a lie detector. There's that. And I enjoyed it. And I will give it a 3.5 lights because we got some great action. And it's, again, this is what I've come to expect from Jonathan Frakes when he directs an episode. We're going to get some action and he's going to make the best of the story. Yeah, I want to see what happens next. And this, to me, was a serviceable episode, with the exception of not closing anything out, which makes us have so much to get through with our final episode next week. And I am so excited for it. Again, it's my birthday. And for my birthday, if you have not yet subscribed to After the Snap, I implore you to do so. Join a Tribe Called Trek and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery. I am eager to know. I'm sorry for being a day late, but I thought I'd share my birthday with y'all. I enjoy hanging out with you guys this week, and I'll see you here again next week. Again, watch my schedule. It's going to be all jacked up because of the move, but hopefully within the next few weeks, things will have some normalcy and I will get back to some kind of regular schedule. With all that being said, thank you for joining me, and I want you to live long and prosper. Peace.